All right, everybody, welcome to the channel. It's your boy P, and today I got a great guest with me today. Her name is Alore Scott. Amazing channel. I was fortunate enough to stumble upon her channel. She has an amazing channel. A lot of House of the Dragon game. George R. R. Martin. If you want a alternative, like with a lot of these people, they do a lot of glazing, and I like the fact that she called out a problem that this show has with the writing and things like that, and a lot of people, the spectacle gets them, but when they don't take the time to peel those layers back, and you did an amazing job with that. I stumbled upon one of her videos,
Thank you.
binged them all because they were just so amazing. So
Thank you.
I
Thank
want
you.
to say thank you for coming on with me today.
Thank you for having me,
Oh yeah, for
Pierre.
sure.
Thank you.
So today we're going to be talking about, we're going to keep it with the Targaryens. We're going to talk about our top three Targaryens. So she's going to give her three. I'm going to give my three. And with the Lord being my guest, well, you always got to, give it up to the guest. So I'm going to let my guest go first. Why don't you go ahead and give us your number three Targaryen?
All right. Number three is definitely my girl Rhaenyra. Love her bisexual energy. I love her bodaciousness, her tiddliciousness. I love that she's rich, she's out there, and she doesn't back down from a fight, in her own way. Like she's not a fighter, but she doesn't back down from a fight in her own way. And I just love that about her. Like she's got a big temper, she's got a rich girl attitude, it girl attitude, and I just love that about her so much. So
Yeah. Yeah. A tragic story, but
tragic.
one that needed to be told.
Yeah.
Um, I asked you, Emma Darcy. I think like you say, she's a good actress, but like I said, we go back to the
There.
writing.
Emma Darcy's non-binary.
Mhm.
So yeah, Emma Darcy, I think Emma Darcy definitely has the stuff. They got the sauce to serve Rhaenyra the way that they deserve to be represented. Unfortunately, Emma Darcy is not given the material to be Rhaenyra. Like I don't know what interview I seen, but they were saying they wanted to be like a dragon queen. They wanted to be, like a dragon queen, but they're not they're not given the materials. Like Millie Alcock, who played young Rhaenyra, the young Princess Rhaenyra.
Mhm.
She was written to be, kind of pretty Rhaenyra-ish. Like she's uh, precocious. She's fiery. She has a backbone. But like Emma Darcy's Rhaenyra, adult Rhaenyra, is meek, and she's conservative, and she's like uh, she's a mouse. She doesn't stand up for herself, and she's always begging people for shit, like begging Damon to marry her, and begging Rhaenys to support her, and begging. She does not stand on business. Like she does not have no backbone. She does not have no supporters. Like she's always backed into a corner, and that's just not Rhaenyra. That is some girl in a dress in a castle who has, she don't got no backbone. And I just feel so bad for Emma, because how can you show range if you don't have no backbone? That's not a princess to me. That's not a queen. That's not a princess. And I just feel bad for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where they were all they wanted to empower this series, kind of to empower the female perspective, and you try to build her up, but then you cut her legs from under, like when it's when she has a chance to truly prove her you take her legs from under, and that's unfortunate. Because it's like, I don't want to say, I think their heart's in the good place, like but if you don't really put in the work, it seems like it's performative, like, oh, we're gonna tell everybody we're gonna do all this, and then when it comes to putting it out, it you fall short. You know,
Mm,
that's kind of how I see it. But
I agree.
so yeah, so we'll go to me with my number three. My number three is Daeron the First. aka the Young Dragon. He is the son of Aegon the
Okay.
Third, aka Aegon the Younger, aka Dragonsbane, who is the son of Rhaenyra, who we were just talking about, and Daemon, and which would make Darren their grandson. And like I said, the cool thing about him is he's the young dragon because he came into rule at the age of 14, and one of his mandates was he wanted to bring Dorne into the fold. Of course, his advisors were a little worried, nervous about that because nobody could get Dorne to come to heel. It's just in their nature, they're gonna do what they want to do. And so they were worried that we couldn't even do it with the dragons. And I'm paraphrasing, but he told him, "Look, man, you do have a dragon. He stands before you." And so he took the conqueror's crown, and you know what? He went down the Dorne, and he got them to come to heel. But the thing about Daron is a lot of it is, was it worth it because of the losses they took? Like they lost thousands and tens of thousands of men at the end of the day for Dorne. When I say come to heel, and I say air quotes because the people of Dorne, particularly the Martells, their house words. What is it?
Unbound, unbent, unbroken.
Unbroken. So, as Oberyn would say in the DVDs, it's a warning to enemies and a challenge to their lovers. I mean, these guys, they're a different breed. And so unfortunately he was assassinated under they were under peace, under a peace flag, and he was unfortunately assassinated. And the thing about Daron, it's one of those what could have been characters. Like they're scattered throughout Martin's work. You look at a Robb Stark, just what could have been.
Some others.
Huh?
We'll talk about some others too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the possibilities, what could have been. And so and a lot of people like I said, was it worth it, at the end of the day? And they do eventually bring Dorne to the fold, but the way they bring Dorne to the fold is not war, it's a marriage. It was a marriage that did it. So but yeah, that's my guy number 3. I mean, it kind of reminds me maybe of like, because he's young and going to war, kind of like an Alexander the Great type, kind of guy. But
that's a good parallel.
Yeah.
That's a good parallel.
That's my number 3. So we'll go ahead and toss it to you. Give us your number 2.
Excuse the motorcycles.
Oh, it's all right. It's okay.
In my backyard. My number 2 is Visenya.
Oh.
Dark Sister, the Dark Sister. She is the Dark Sister. I think Visenya is very cool. I mean, she's a history maker. She's a dragon rider. I mean, if you get on a fucking dragon, I'm gonna love you. Rhaenyra was a dragon rider too. Rhaenyra was actually the youngest dragon rider. I didn't mention that. But Visenya is cool. Like, she is the Dark Sister. She was comfortable in a silk dress. She's comfortable in armor. She's a classically trained swordswoman. She conquered the Vale without breathing a lick of fire. She created the Kingsguard. So, sorry, I'm gonna have to take this one, okay? But her brother was like, nah, we good. Like, I'm safe, I'm good, She took her sword, put it right up to his cheek, cut his cheek, and she was like, oh, you safe? You safe, or you want a Kingsguard, So she was a really bad bitch, and she helped rule the kingdom, and of course the Field of Fire. She was one of the 3 dragons to help burn 60,000 men.
Yeah.
She did not play. Like, I love her so much. She's crazy. She's
on my list. I mean, she's my number 1 on mine. And the thing I like about her is she's very dutiful. She realized Aegon, her brother, her brother husband, he didn't love her. He was with her out of duty, and he loved their other sister, Rhaenys. But, she was like, it is what it is. And she stayed loyal to him when there were questions whether or not, Rhaenys may have, stepped out on Aegon, but she's also the mother of Maegor the Cruel.
Yeah.
And I will say this to the day I'm out of here: Maegor the Cruel did nothing wrong. He did. I won't say he did. I won't say he didn't do nothing wrong. But I mean, if it wasn't for him, the Targaryens may would have came to an end because he had to fight the fate. If it wasn't for him, the Targaryens may have got wiped out.
You're not on Twitter, are you?
Huh?
You're not on Twitter, right?
No,
Stay off Twitter because people will fight you for days on Twitter. I'm just saying, some people will fight you for days. Now, I don't agree or disagree. I just think that they're complex characters. Yeah. But I definitely agree with you. She was dutiful. She was definitely about securing and maintaining their legacy. Because like even if they had dragons, she was all about maintaining that shaky legacy. When her nephew Aenys was in power, she recognized that he was weak, and she wanted to support him as much as she could because he was indecisive. He wanted very much to be liked, and he wanted very much to be liked and respected. And he didn't want to use their dragon fire, but she was like, sometimes you need to go and burn people. Let me do it. Yeah. Let me do it.
Yeah, just give me the word.
But he couldn't move. And there's some speculation that she killed him.
Yeah.
To move him out the way for Maegor. Yeah.
I mean, to me, she reminds me of my favorite character out of all Martin's works, and that's Stannis Baratheon. Like someone who's very.
I didn't see that coming.
yeah, that's my guy, Stannis. My favorite house is the Baratheons, and so
really,
yeah, and so just the dutifulness, and it reminds me of a lot of Stannis or whatever, and so.
Orys is her brother.
They're half brother.
Yeah.
So
that I did not see that coming though. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, now I want to ask you what you think is gonna happen with Stannis in the main series, but that's not the topic for right now.
Yeah.
So who's your number two? Who's your number two?
That's what I was about to jump to. And number two for me is Baelor Breakspear. He
boy.
is another what could have been character.
Yeah.
And the thing about him is we'll see him in the Dunk and Egg show. He will be on the show. So the cool thing about him is he doesn't have the Targaryen features. He has his Dornish features. His mother's from Dorne. As I talked about earlier, that with Daeron the First, that it wasn't war that brought them into the fold. It was a marriage, and it was the marriage of his father who brought everything together. So Breakspear is a result of that piece. And so the cool thing about him is the boy had aura, man. Everybody liked him. He was respected. He came into fame during the first Blackfire Rebellion.
Yep.
In the Red Grass Field. Him and his brother Maekor. I have a hard time. Maekar. I have a hard time pronouncing that. Maekar.
No, people pronounce everybody's name all fucked up. So.
And so they smashed Daemon Blackfire and all the Blackfire pretenders. They smashed them in the Battle of the Red Grass Fields. Him and his brother were the hammer and the anvil, and so they made songs about it. Now, like I said, he was a could have been, because what ended up happening was, like I said, this man had some aura and respect, and he could see it in other people. And Duncan the Tall got into it with a member of his family, and there was a trial by 7. Those of you don't know, trial by 7 is an individual. It's 7-on-7, a melee. And so the thing about it was his nephew who got into the altercation with Dunk, which put his brother on the opposite side during the melee. Now, a lot of people, was it on purpose or was it just an accident?
Whatever they saying he did that shit.
But Breakspear was struck in the back of the head by his brother and basically took out a part of his skull, and he ended up dying. And that's how his story came to an end. He had so much promise to be a great king,
Okay.
but we just will never. In the famous words of Kanye West, I guess we'll never know. It's just unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead to you. Number one for you.
The queen, Daenerys Targaryen from the main series, So I'm a latecomer to Game of Thrones. I seen Game of Thrones like 3 years after the show started. I was in college. And I think I had like an old boyfriend or an old friend who showed it to me, but I didn't even get into it until like months later. And then I just sat down and I watched it and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? But I was into it on and off. And then I found out that it was a book, and I was like, there's a book to this shit. But when I did watch Daenerys scenes, I knew she was going to hatch dragons when she put them in the fire. And, watching her be, assaulted by Drogo and crying and all that stuff, I was like, oh my God, this poor girl, like, please free her. And then watching her, build reputation in the Khalasar, I was like, oh, okay, she, she's, this is going somewhere. Like, she's definitely going to hatch dragons. She's definitely going to, like, rule these horse riding nomads, and her brother dies. Great. He's abusive. He sucks. She's going to hatch dragons. They're going to ride horses and dragons. She's going to be the princess. But then her husband dies. And then she hatches dragons. And I'm like, okay, hopefully she won't starve to death. But then she keeps going through ups and downs. But then when she frees the slaves, the Unsullied, I was like, first of all, I was like, this girl speaks more than 2 languages. That kind of threw me off because she was pretending not to understand, and then she burns his fucking face. I was like, oh, this girl is full of surprises. That's still my favorite scene in the whole show.
Yeah, she did some 48 Laws of Power.
Seriously,
right there.
Seriously. Oh, and the books are a lot different. Like, first of all, she's a lot younger. All the characters are a lot younger.
Yeah.
But the books are a lot different. She's a lot gentler in the books. She's a lot younger. She's a lot less sure of herself in the books. I think she's an excellent character, though. Even in the show, they show her with so much triumph and so much promise, and so much heroicism. So she is my absolute favorite character. And in my opinion, and I have a very strong hunch, inshallah, George will finish the books. But I have a very strong hunch based on George's interviews that he's given. I have a very strong hunch that Daenerys is his ultimate hero because, the White Walkers or the others are said to be these ice demons that enslave the dead using their ice powers. And they basically come from extinction, enslaving the dead with their ice powers. And then you have Daenerys, who basically brings dragons back from extinction, and she comes from an ancient slaving culture that also kind of went extinct. They're not really extinct because there are some Valyrian strongholds that still exist. That's a book lore. But anyways, she brings dragons back from the dead, and they are basically the counterbalance to the ice demons who enslave the dead. And she is fighting living slavery currently. She's freeing people of different ethnicities, unifying them. So in the books, there's gonna be a clash, a unification of the living against the dead. And I think that is a really strong symbolism. And I know George has a long way to get her there, to get her and all her people and all her dragons over to Westeros in a uniformed strength. And there's going to be a lot of death and heartbreak along the way. But I strongly have this feeling that is the trajectory of her character. Don't know how it's going to end, but I have a strong feeling That's
Yeah, I'll say this. I like how they didn't make her character a Mary Sue. You know,
no.
I think
Yeah,
that's
no.
where they get into a lot of trouble writing female characters. A lot of times they make them,
Yeah.
they never lose. They're able to do things with like without any half the training, amount.
Mhm.
Like they showed her, the struggling, like you said, and then she had losses and had wins. So that's why what made her triumphs so great, because they were earned. Like
Yes.
mostly everything she got, it was earned. She got
Yeah.
it the hard way. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, she's not my favorite character, but I think she's definitely one of the better characters, and I can see why a lot of
Yeah.
people enjoy they love her character. It seems like every female I talk to, I watches the show, Daenerys Targaryen, that's who they roll with. They rolling with the Khaleesi.
Yeah.
That's who
I
they
mean,
rolling with. So
she's a pretty pop. I mean, she is the most popular character because we wouldn't have like a million fucking Targaryen shows coming after her, honestly.
yeah. I mean, you know, I can't argue that. So we'll go ahead and wrap this video up because we doubled up. So Visenya was on my list, but I guess like if I had to add a one on there, just honorable mention, I got to give it up to Jaehaerys, the conciliator. If you go look through his history, I mean, for one, I think his relationship with the great Queen Alicent, it was a really realistic relationship. There were times where they just like they split up, like
Yep.
like
Yeah.
like they split up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's a tough. Yeah.
yeah. And so and like I said, I liked you know he had aura to him. Like, he challenged the, dudes was running around spreading rumors about his daughter. He challenged him to a duel. Old boy straight up was like,
Yeah.
to the king, he was like, "Oh man, who you gonna have go against me?" And he says, "This old man right here." And he gave him that work with Blackfire. So so yeah, I might have to add him on. There's a couple others, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Targaryens out there.
George put his foot in a lot of. He put his foot in their history and their line.
Yeah.
But,
so yeah, that's it for us on this one. Once again, I want to thank you for coming on. Hopefully this will be the start of many more discussions as far as when it comes to World of Ice and Fire, and because we're getting all these spin-offs. We getting a lot of spin-offs. So hopefully the writers get it under control and stop disrespecting George. I don't know why they hate this guy, man. They'll get hot using his works, and then they just turn on him. They change up on him. I never understood that.
We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah,
we'll be here all day. Don't get me started. Okay.
All right. Thank you. So guys, thanks. Like I always say, guys, if it's for 1 minute, 5 minutes, or the whole damn video, I appreciate you taking time every day to view my content. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe, smash the like, get in the comments. Tell us who are your top 3 Targaryens. Tell us who you're rolling with. So with that being said, everybody, it's your boy P signing off. And guys, I'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Take it easy.